Today, I want to show you how to handle gold leaf, both the patent gold and the loose leaf gold, the loose leaf being more challenging. Basically, I have here a book of the patent gold, a book of the loose leaf gold. I have several sheets of glassine 5 inches by 5 inches. I have a clean pair of scissors right here that'll always be sitting either on a paper towel or silk. And right here I just have a little raised box right here that I would suggest you either have a little box or a book, and it's elevated about an inch or so, and it's going to make grasping the gold leaf when you cut it much easier than if you just set it on the tabletop. So let's get started. Far and away the easiest gold leaf to handle is going to be the patent gold. Now then, patent simply means whatever form of metal leaf you have is ever so slightly adhered to tissue. It's exactly the same kind of gold leaf. There's 24 karat gold leaf that's either loose or patent. 23 karat gold leaf, which is either loose or patent. Lemon gold, moon gold, palladium, all of these come in the form either loose in books or patent, that is ever so slightly adhered to the tissue. When it's patent, it's much easier to handle. One of the things that I do as soon as I get a book of gold leaf is I take a knife and I slit it on the side. That way it makes it very easy to take out of the glassine envelope that it comes in and then put it back in there the same way. So just a little trick I use, make things easier to handle. So when you take your book of, in this case, patent gold, and the standard is 23 karat double depth XX deep, and so you simply thumb your way through the book until there's a sheet of patent gold leaf. And so all you do is just very carefully ease it out, and the one end right here is a little greater than the ones on the side and the bottom, and so you simply take it out and there it is. I'm going to close my book of patent gold right there, and when I go to cut this is where this little box or a book or something that's elevated just ever so slightly comes in handy. You'll take your clean scissors and you'll judge the amount that you're going to need to cover your image, and you're always going to be more generous with that. And as you cut your gold leaf, it's going to fall right there on that little elevated surface. And then I'm going to set this down, and in each case I'm going to drape that piece of gold leaf off the edge of that elevated surface. That way when I go to hold on to it, grasp it, having it hanging over the edge of that little elevated surface makes it a lot easier than if it's on the tabletop and you're going, okay, how do I get under it there? It's not as convenient, especially when you're dealing with all the other paraphernalia with your gilding. You're going to have another piece of glassine there, your burnisher, etc. So that's very simply it. Now then, when you're going to put your gold leaf away that you didn't use, well, with the patent gold, that's pretty easy. All you need to do is just, once again, thumb your way through the book and find a space where there's an opening. And in this case, this was almost a full book of gold leaf right here. Then, with the patent gold, you can simply put it back in the way you had it before. If you have a relatively small piece, let's say that you had cut this into 2 different pieces and now you want to put them back, one of the best ways I find of putting back any kind of gold leaf, whether it's patent gold or loose leaf gold, is to take a piece of glassine and fold it. There, there. And then you can just put your pieces of gold leaf there, wedged into the glassine. There, and there. And because the piece of glassine is oversized, then what I simply do is trim it like this. And then put it back into the glassine envelope until you use it next time. And that's how you handle the patent gold leaf. I encourage students to use the patent gold a lot to begin with because it's very encouraging. They build up their confidence in being able to handle the patent gold, and then little by little they have enough confidence to say, you know, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to use the loose leaf gold leaf. And one of the reasons for using the loose leaf is no matter what kind of leaf it is, whether it's palladium or lemon gold or moon gold, 24 karat gold, the loose leaf form will always give you a slightly higher burnish. And for me, it's worth the, in quotes, trouble to handle the loose leaf gold leaf for the results that I get that are superior with the loose leaf versus the patent. The patent can be really beautiful, really shiny, but I find that there is a difference. So, in handling the loose leaf gold leaf, this is what we're going to do. Any of the books of gold leaf that I have, as I said, I take a knife and I slit the edge of it so that it does make it much easier to take out and put back into that little glassine envelope that it comes in. And so, once again, all you do here is this. You thumb through the book until, and very often you can see it coming up, these little tissues in here are so thin you can see through a couple at a time, and then as you are approaching loose leaf, there it is, okay? And nice and shiny. Now then, you want to work in an area where you don't have any air currents, whether it's forced air heating or cooling or an open window or anything. You do not want that because this will blow right off and be wasted. So what you want to do is this. It's really simple. All you do is take one of your sheets of glassine and put it all the way in to your book and then let it fall. And then you go, you're my favorite piece of gold leaf. I really like you. So the thing is now, the piece of gold leaf is facing downward. Your piece of glassine is atop it. So what you're going to want to do is slide that book and turn it over. And now, as you gently rub on this, what you're trying to do is encourage that piece of gold leaf to stay put on that glassine. So as you very carefully open it up and slide it out, that's ever so slightly, very tenuously hanging on to that glassine. Now what you're going to want to do, and this is why I like having a 5-inch square piece of glassine. It's oversized enough that you can handle it from several sizes, but it's not so big that it's awkward. And so now once again what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little elevated surface right here. I'm going to take my clean, sharp scissors, and I'm going to cut the piece of loose leaf gold leaf that I need. And so now I can have it sitting on my little elevated surface right here. Anywhere you cut a piece of loose leaf gold leaf, wherever you cut it, it's ever so slightly attached to the glassine. So when I make another cut right here, you have this edge where the gold leaf is holding onto the glassine, and this edge is, as you can see, just the slightest little movement, and this is flopping up right here. When I would do my gilding with this, I would take my piece of gold leaf attached to the glassine like this. I would ever so slightly hold this little corner here. So when I turn this over, and I do it assertively, then these two edges here and here that are very loose won't flop over. I can, with pretty much confidently, flip this over, get it onto my gilding base, press on it with my finger and my burnisher, and it's going to do what I want it to do. Now then, the trick here is taking this away. Skin oils are not your friend when it comes to the gold leaf. The gold leaf will pull away on any skin oils. That includes your scissors if they're not clean. So once again, when you put this back, you're just going to flip through the book until you find an empty spot. Wrong side there. So I'll close that. I'll go from the other side. And this was just about a full book. So as I flip through here, I've got that space right there where I can now take this and put it in there. And I can trim away the glassine. And then just as I did with the patent gold, any smaller pieces of gold leaf that I didn't use, in this case with the loose leaf, which are ever so slightly adhered to the glassine, what I can do is trim them down just a little bit so I can still handle them aptly. And then once again I'll take a piece of glassine, and because you're folding it in half, you don't have much space for these pieces. So you may want to take a larger piece of glassine to put these pieces in that you'll use in the future, either for smaller gilding or for patching up, repairing. And you can fold those over and have it in there. And then I'll find an empty spot in the book. In this case it's almost full, but there's one little spot in the front here. And I'll put it in there. And then once again, I can trim that. There. And then put it back into the glassine envelope that it came in. And you're done. And that's how to handle gold leaf, both patent gold and loose leaf gold. Happy gilding.